Hello and welcome to a very special, we'll go with special edition, episode, whatever you want to call it, of Simon's Pro Wrestling Show. We've done a few this week, but not only everything that's happened in the last 24 hours, but everything that's happened in the last, 5 hours. I was like, we've got to do a show, we've got to sit down, we've got to talk about it. Again, if you want to get all of my thoughts on Crown Jewel 2019, make sure you head over to What Culture Wrestling and subscribe to them. You can watch my ups and downs and get all your information that way. I mean, where do we even start? We are going to talk about Bray Wyatt. We are going to talk about The Fiend, because I don't know about you, but it surprised the hell out of me. That was the last thing I was expecting to happen. I thought after Hell in a Cell, we certainly wouldn't do it in Saudi Arabia or on one of those shows, because up to this point, they have been nothing more than, glorified house shows, basically. So to then make this call, honestly, I made weird noises when it happened, but we'll get to that in 1 second, because what we do need to talk about is the elephant in the room, something that's going on right now, thousands of miles away, and I don't know all the details. I'm like you, I'm just trying to figure it out as I go along, but it certainly seems like at least a large percentage of the WWE talent is currently stuck in Saudi Arabia after some kind of issue where the plane wasn't allowed to take off. People like Hulk Hogan, Brock Lesnar, Vince McMahon, they'd already gone on their own chartered flights, but whatever the, company flight was going to be was grounded. Originally, it was reported, or the sources said, that it was because of mechanical problems. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer has poo-pooed that and said, no, it's something else. But what that something else is, we don't know. But all you need to do is go and look at some of the people that are clearly stuck there. Buddy Murphy, Humberto Carrillo, Andrade. All is not well in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And that's all I'm going to know. I can't really say much more about it other than it certainly raised my eyebrow and made me start to question what's going to happen with this deal going forward, because it doesn't sound like a good situation. Other than that, I don't know. And it's going to affect SmackDown, because apparently only 12 people were able to leave, so you may just get an hour-long Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan. Yeah, you get Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan. They didn't go. So we can get a 2-hour Iron Man match with Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. Not the worst idea. I would watch it. But in the meantime, again, if you do want to join in with the conversation, you want to join in with the chat, you've got a question, you've got a statement, you want to shape this podcast, take it in and you'd like, yeah, whatever. It's okay, it's fine. You know, got the red lighting back, but I don't believe anything's going to happen here. And because... Oh, no, hang on. Why is this happening? Apparently we have some streaming issues. Oh, apparently it's back. Apparently we're okay. Let me just go check everything. Everything looks all right. Everything looks fine. That's off, right? Everything's off. And I think we're okay. I think we're back. Weird. Yeah, I think there is always... I think you kind of defend yourself against disappointment, right? Because we got disappointment at Hell in a Cell, it's like, well, let's make... the best way to protect yourself against that is, well, let's not get overly excited, because if we don't get overly excited, then we can't be disappointed. But yeah, I loved it. I can't lie. I did. I liked the finish. Because what I think WWE may have known this as well. When... Bray Wyatt got super kicked into whatever those electrical things were, and then somebody lit a sparkler. I don't know what that was. I was like, okay, I see what we're going to do. We're going to play this whole Bray Wyatt basically got murdered and Seth Rollins beat him. And I was like, fine, whatever. Like my man just said, I'm like, who cares? We've done it once already. Why the hell not do it twice? But then when he no-sold that and he stood up and then Sister Abigail Seth Rollins to win, I don't even care, man. I loved it. It's what I wanted. It creates a much more interesting structure for WWE, because now both their world champions are on one brand. Actually quite smart for WWE right now, because SmackDown needs ratings, so why not do it? I don't think it's going to hurt Raw with them not having a title. And it's just different, right? It's different. And when I watch WWE, especially Raw and SmackDown, it's like, I want you to give me something that I don't expect, or I'm not used to. Because sticking to the status quo has become a bit dull. It's become a bit dry. So, it was kind of crappy that as soon as Bray Wyatt won, we then had to shift across to, the ending of one of these shows with fireworks and happy clappy and all of that. I would have much rather sold this idea that this crazy serial killer had just won the championship. But even then, sometimes you just got to call a spade, as I always say, and sometimes you just got to be happy that we got what we want. Yeah, it took longer than we anticipated, but thank goodness that right now, does it? It all, I don't know what we do. I guess it all depends what we do now, because look, WWE has done what everyone's been asking them to do. Yes, they should have done it at Hell in a Cell, but they didn't. It depends what happens now. If Bray Wyatt loses the title next week or tomorrow or whatever, then yeah, that sucks. I think we at least have to get through Survivor Series, where I believe it's going to be Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar versus Adam Cole. If that doesn't do well, who knows what. But I'm not going to be overly critical on getting the finish that I wanted, even if, like, a lot of people have said, through the majority of that match, I kind of just watched it as like, because I didn't believe. Nick C in the super chat said, I enjoyed Crown Jewel mostly. What culture are too negative sometimes? Well, everyone's allowed their own opinion, my friend. I wouldn't say it's just, well, I don't think that's fair either, because I'm part of what culture and people tell me I'm too positive. I think we shouldn't use blanket terms such like that. And also, if someone didn't like the show and wants to rag over it, good for them. Let them go nuts. I thought Crown Jewel was it's a difficult show. It is a difficult show, but if you just want to look at it from an in-ring point of view, I thought it was the best one they've done out there. They've done out there so far. Geeked Out Nation, talking about the stuff we were talking about at the start, says, sound dangerous for the talent and effed up situation. Well, we need more details before we can start commenting on it, but it's very concerning. But again, people are speculating at the moment, and sometimes speculation leads you down the wrong path. But I totally agree with you. I'm a bit transfixed by it because, well, for obvious reasons. Shout out to my man, Ogman02234, who, my word, has been incredibly generous in the super chat. Ogman, I want to get someone, no one tweet, send me an email. It's in my Twitter bio. How do I get that thing where we get like a top donator things? I want to be able to shout people out throughout the whole stream, but I'm old and I don't know how to do it. Anyway, Ogman, thank you so much. Who says, so what do you think they'll do with having both titles on SmackDown? Maybe have some sort of invasion-style angle. Love you, Si. Keep doing what you do. Thanks, man. I will. And thank you so much for that super chat. I mean, you put a smile on my face. What do I think they're going to do? Do you know what? The best answer is I don't know. And I think that's why it's a great decision. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I don't want to be able to work it out. It's fun to guess, and it's fun to fantasy book, but I'd much always rather be in a position where I'm like, I wonder what is going to happen. My worry now is that this was done to appease people like you and I, and that Seth Rollins will be champion back in a month. And I don't think that helps the Fiend at all. However, I much prefer your idea of turning this into a long, ongoing storyline. Maybe we do get this kind of... I don't think that we can have an invasion storyline because we've only just redone the brand split. And then, if we go back on that so soon, which we're already doing at Survivor Series, which in my opinion is too soon. But if we have a whole invasion thing with Raw and SmackDown guys jumping over, I think it just utterly poo-poos that idea. However, with that said, it's not working, is it? Raw ratings are going down. SmackDown ratings seemingly are headed the same way. So why beat a dead horse? It's a fair point. Then why beat a dead horse? You don't keep doing, what's the definition of insanity or madness? Keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Why have a concrete brand split, even though it would be ridiculous if it doesn't work? So maybe you're right, Ogman. It would be cool. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see some kind of coming together by the Raw guys, and they feel like they have to go and get their title back. It would make for interesting television, and it would tie up both shows so that you need to watch the pair of them, which is also smart. Otherwise, I don't know. If someone pushed me to give like a definitive answer, I think Bray Wyatt's going to lose it sooner than a lot of us are going to be happy with. And I think that was done as a bit of a make good. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm being overly cautious here. I much prefer... We're going crazy. Absolutely, let's do that. Let's get NXT involved as well. If we're doing Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT at Survivor Series, tie it into all the shows. The ratings, at the end of the day, if the ratings go the other way, it's difficult to start saying that they did something wrong. Thanks again, Ogman. Honestly, lovely of you. Undead FBQ in the super chat. In capitals, there's Simon. Bray won. Will it be okay? Scared my dog by getting excited. Also, what is going to happen to the guy stuck in Saudi? I know. Will it be okay is an interesting question. I can't answer that, Undead. I don't know. I hope so, and I hope this is part of a bigger plan. Because something I have started to notice, and it's nothing new, I'm just more aware of it recently, and we talked about it a little bit, is that Raw and SmackDown aren't episodic TV shows at the moment. Things happen on one episode, and then you get to another episode, and stuff just happens. If you're an Ups and Downs fan, stuff just happens. We need to start connecting the dots, and we need to start, plugging everything together. So I hope it's okay, and I hope they have a plan and a story. I worry that they're still going week to week. In terms of the sound, I don't know. Apparently, the last I've heard, and I don't know anything that you guys don't know, I'm just looking at what's being popped up. The last I heard is that they've all checked into a hotel wherever the event was, and they're not going home today, which sucks to be a wrestler anyway, because they've got a European tour coming up soon, and I imagine they probably want a couple of days at home, or they wanted to be on the show they're meant to be on. It's a very concerning situation. Let's hope it's just people getting too worried, I guess. And that's not the right word, because you should be worried. Let's just hope it's nothing, right? Let's hope it's nothing. Jacob Donnelly in the Super Chat says, the Fiend can take all that damage, and yet he still won. How is someone going to beat him now? A lot of people don't like the fact that Bray Wyatt no-sells things. I do. Maybe I'm not thinking about it in the terms that I should, but it gets a pop out of me. When he just stood up from that stuff like, yeah, what are you going to do? I loved it. Too many curb stomps again. The match was too long, like 22 minutes, whatever it was. Should have cut that right down. But I don't. The Undertaker used to no-sell everything, right? And you go way back to 1991 or 1990, I should say, into 1991. The Undertaker would no-sell everything. And do you know how he had his first loss? He got tombstoned. No, he didn't. That's not true at all. I can't remember how he got his first loss. Point being is that they did it with the Undertaker and it was okay. You can find a way to do it with the Fiend. I think sometimes we overthink these things. Right now, I think it's a cool character. I think the presentation works, and the fact that he actually was able to win the championship means he's justified all these weird changes that he's gone through, because you need to have these rewards, these achievements that you can say, hey, look what I did, if it's going to pay off. And that should be down to the story writers, the creative. Maybe he gets beaten by 8 people, I don't know, but I certainly don't worry about that. I think that shouldn't be too hard to work out, I don't think. Daniel Brotherton in the Super Chat says, John Cena followed me on Twitter the other day. It had a blue tick too. Yeah, John Cena does seem to do that. So my good stuff, Dan. What did you say to him? Did you retweet him? Did you favorite something? Did you ask him to follow? He seems to have this thing where he just follows random people. It's very nice, though. Doesn't follow me. Do you, John Cena? Not that I need to be followed by John Cena. But yeah, so if you've been followed by John Cena, let me know. But yeah, I was a huge fan of it. I hope that they treat him well. I hope that it reestablishes the character, and that in around about 6 months, we just forget everything that happened at Hell in a Cell, because we still got to where we needed to be. As long as you get to your destination eventually, it's not so bad. However, there could still be some kinks in the road. The other thing that I feel like we should talk about Tyson Fury, and we should talk about Cain Velasquez. We'll start with Cain Velasquez. I do not understand the Brock Lesnar versus Cain match. I see what they were trying to do. They want to make it one-on-one so they can have a rubber match. And there's all these reports now that Cain has a bad knee. But why you had to beat him in that kind of fashion? This was like last year's show, whenever the hell it was, when Brock Lesnar beat Braun Strowman really easily. And no one could quite work it out. It's like we go to Saudi Arabia, and I guess we pay Lesnar so much money, we're like, well, he can just beat the crap out of someone. Because all it did was make Velasquez look bad. I said this in Ups and Downs, I'll say it again. To me, you either know who he is, and you've just come to the conclusion, as I did, okay, well, Brock just wanted his win back, and he's got it now. Okay, great. Or if you don't know who he is, you think, well, that Cain Velasquez guy is pretty crap. Because why would you think anything else? Why would you think anything else? It went like a minute and a half. I mean, I like the story that Jim Valley from Wrestling Observer put out there. I thought it was fantastic. Like, now Cain goes away. He gets trained by Rey Mysterio. And then he comes back and he does all his lucha crap and beats Brock Lesnar that way. That's an awesome story. But WWE doesn't really tell narratives like that, so I can't see it happening. I just don't get the point. I don't get the point of bringing... What's the point of bringing in Cain Velasquez and treating him like that? You can lose, but be protected. And I just felt like it wasn't that at all. He just looked like a chump within the story we were being told. He looked like a chump. And he tapped out. He only tapped out, I think, once in his MMA career. I said nothing on Ups and Downs. I was just being like over the top and waving my arms around. I do remember the Verdum match. I don't know. It was really, really strange. I don't get it. I guess Brock... I said this on Twitter, as I'm the 316 tweet plug. Brock Lesnar's just a king in WWE. He's just a king. He's got tenure. He's got longevity. And nobody can upset that fact. It's the truth. It is crazy. My man Brandon Carvalho says, does Seth turn heel after this loss? I don't know what we do with Seth Rollins, man. I mean, it depends how you see heel or faces in 2019. Technically, he already is. He gets booed. He didn't get a massive ovation in Saudi Arabia, whereas other people like Brock and Roman were. He didn't feel like he was being treated as that caliber of superstar. He's not given good promos. Even last night, he was given, like, I didn't start this fight. Just don't even mention it, man. Just go kick his ass. I don't know what we do with Seth Rollins. I think it's 50%. He's not even responsible for it, because I don't think he gets booked very well, and he never wins. I didn't mind that last night. That was the right decision. But I mean, on Raw matches and whatnot, Maybe you do turn him heel. I don't know. I think it all depends on how long Bray is going to have this title, because a small part of me, a large part of me actually, thinks that we're going to get into November, December time and Seth Rollins will be the Universal Champion again. And then if they do that, maybe they will be forced to turn him into a bad guy because fans will be so mad about it. My man Daniel Brotherton says, no, I like John Cena's tweets, but it was just random. Ha ha. It's good, dude. Little things like that are awesome. It's crazy that we live in a world where I know there's a lot of toxicity, as people say on social media. But the fact you can interact with your heroes and people you look up to, and they may follow you or give you a retweet. I remember years ago, it must have been like 2014, 15, I got a quote retweet of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it was like the greatest thing that ever happened. Plus, I made a joke, and he made a joke back. Then I got embarrassed because my Twitter has 316 in it. I would change that tomorrow if I could, but too late. Change it yesterday, I should say. And that's what I think. Again, social media has a lot of problems, but that is definitely one of the cool things, that you can just interact with these larger-than-life people who are just human beings at the end of the day. Undead FB Goose says, not John Cena, but Spencer from Inc. follows you. He does. That's true. That's true. Ice 9 Kills. I don't know why that is. He followed me the other day. I don't like talking about this because I think when you start name-dropping, you sound like an asshole. But as the conversation has come up naturally, I have a crazy... So I have Matt Jackson follows me from the Young Bucks. AJ Styles follows me. Matt Hardy follows me. That's crazy. As a guy who grew up as fans... Well, I didn't grow up a fan of the Young Bucks as they sort of, around about my age. But, I grew up watching Matt Hardy. I grew up watching AJ Styles. I've had conversations with them on Twitter DMs. Like, it's just nothing amazing. They were just talking about some What Culture videos I did. But I'm blocked by Shawn Michaels. Still understand that one. I've never said anything negative about Shawn Michaels, but hey, I'll move forward. But yeah, absolutely, just blows my brain. It really, really does. And it's cool, so I get it. I understand the love. So that was my thoughts on Kane versus Brock. Didn't get it. To me, the hero, the savior, was Rey Mysterio. I guess we're setting up Rey versus Brock. If not, what did we do that for with the chair? How they do that, I don't know, because that's Raw versus SmackDown 2. Maybe my man is right. We're going to do some kind of invasion. I think a great way to tell... I'm not saying they're going to do this, but another great way to tell the story is Rey Mysterio becomes WWE champ and beats Brock Lesnar. Can't see that happening in a million years, but it would be feel-good. It would be satisfying. I've got no problem with Rey being the champ. I think Rey's brilliant. How that ties into Shorty G, I don't know, because Rey is shorter than Shorty G, and Shorty G's all in on this being short thing. Like a bag of Skittles last night, Shorty G. I don't blame him for this. Chad Gable's incredible. My man TJ Fuse in the super chat says, do you think the Fiend versus Seth cage match finishes are a sign of what's to come, how the Fiend will lose, since they advertise a cage match for Raw? Very good point, TJ. They have. I was having this conversation with someone the other day. That is planned for Raw, or some Raw in the future, that it's Seth versus the Fiend. So yeah, maybe they've been doing these these dark matches in a cage between the Fiend and Seth Rollins. Maybe you're right. Maybe that is what this is, and he's going to lose it. And that's just so bad. Who wants that? Let me know in the chat right now. Simple. Yes, I want Seth Rollins to beat Bray Wyatt in a cage, or no, I don't want Seth Rollins to beat Bray Wyatt in a cage. Just a yes or no, and then we can figure out what we're doing. What we're doing with this. But I hope not, TJ. What I hope is going to happen is that they've actually listened to the feedback and the reactions, and they've gone, let's definitely not do this. Let's definitely head in a different direction because ratings are going down and we need to shake things up. That's what we need to do. I think I've got no problem with people trying things, but if you have, statistics and information that proves that it's not working, then do anything. Muck around with it. Right, here they come. You've caught up with my stream. I'm going to read them as they come. No, 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 no. Capital no. No, no, no. Hi there, Simon. Hi there. No, 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 with like 8 exclamation marks. No, no, no. I mean, it's like, hell no, hell no. This sums it up, right? Even as a joke, no one write yes. Someone put no period. No with loads of zeros, O's. No way, Jose. That's the best one. No one person, even in a joke, went yes, lol. Because that sums it up. It's not even funny right now. We want to shake things up. We want to do things differently. So I hope you're wrong, TJ, but you make a great point, and that's good use of the information that's out there. I am surprised there's a lot of hate towards Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman. I read my Wrestling Observer newsletter this morning because I'm a nerd, and Dave Meltzer gave it a dud. Look, I don't think it's an opinion, right? It's an opinion. I don't get mad at it like some people do. I don't care, but he gave it a dud rating. I don't know what people were expecting, to be honest. I thought, given the inexperience that he had and how long he's been training and what they had to do to go out there, I thought Tyson Fury was competent. And I mean that as a massive, was it the best match I've ever seen? 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome? No, absolutely not. But did he take far more punishment than I'm used to from a crossover celebrity or sportsman, whatever word you want to use? Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And he got power slammed by the end of it. No sold that power slam, which probably someone needs to sit him down and go, we don't do that. Who cares? No one's going to focus on that. It got all the mainstream coverage that WWE was going for. Again, I'm not saying it's something that you're going to boot up on your WWE network and watch over and over again, unless you want to show your dad or your mum, like, oh, mum, look what Tyson Fury did. But I think sometimes I do. You can disagree with me, of course. But I think sometimes it's good to step back and remember what we're seeing is a skill-based performance. And for the limited time that he had to get in there and do what he did, I was impressed. I really, really was. And that's the context that I watched it in. I didn't know what to expect going in, but it surpassed my expectations. And I really did think fair play all round. And he was always going to win. That was probably in the contract before this thing was even, signed, because if he's undefeated in his professional world, he's not going to come into a fictional world and get his first loss, because that's just easy. When he fights Deontay Wilder in February, Deontay go, dude, you lost to the fake thing. We know what people do. But yeah, like for a spectacle, I don't think I could have asked for much more. It wasn't as good as Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather. That's still one of the best crossovers they've done. But I really don't understand the hate. What did we think was going to happen? Like Tyson Fury's going to get in there and have like a Bret Hart match. Shout out to my man David Estabrook in the super chat. He says, Simon, thanks for how positive you are. Everyone should listen to you to brighten their days. Keep doing you. Well, thank you, David. It's not hard to be positive when people are saying nice things like that. That's the cheesiest thing I'll say on this Friday, the 1st of November. It's the 1st of November. Happy November, and I hope you had a good Halloween as well, I should say. That's very kind, man. I try. Some people get like rag on me for being too positive, but why not be positive? You shouldn't be positive all the time. It shouldn't be like a false positive. But if you can look for the good in things, it just makes you happier. It just does. And then eventually you fall into a natural way of doing it, and it makes you feel good. Jacob Donnelly in the super chat says, do you enjoy the red light during Bray's matches? I don't hate it as much as everyone else, but still not a huge fan. I'm with you, Jacob. It doesn't piss me off. Some people are like, kill it. Kill the red light. I'm like, look, is it... I like the idea of it, and I kind of like the presentation, but it is annoying. And from a live perspective, because I have seen some pictures, I'm like, no, I understand that would irk some people. But I think it gives Bray Wyatt something different. I think maybe in this instance, it's not exactly the right thing to do, and we should probably go back to the drawing board. But no, I'm with you, Jacob, man. I don't think it's a problem. I don't know. I used to like it it's only when they did it with Bray that I found out that when they did it with Kane back in the day, everybody hated it. I will say this. When I was like 8 or whatever I was when Kane debuted, I flipping loved it. I flipping loved the red light that he came out. I thought it was cool. So no. Let's do another poll. There you go. Do you like the red light or not? Yes or no? Simple as. Where am I going? I've lost my super chats. There we go. It's my man Alex D. Alex D, thank you so much. Shout out to you. Hand on the heart. I say no. Do you think that Seth needs a little bit of a rebrand? Oh, I say no, but they've made his finisher look so weak with all these shenanigans, along with everything else. What do you think? The curb stomp is a problem. I think we can all agree with that. I don't mind. I like the whole Bray Wyatt sells everything, but we went too far with it. You could do 2, and that's as effective as 22. In fact, 2 is probably more effective depending on how you do it. So yes, I think that is an issue. Finishes have been somewhat of a soft spot for Seth Rollins, haven't they? Because he did the pedigree and the ripcord knee, and they didn't really work. Now he's back to the curb stomp, and we've run that into the ground. The irony, not a pun. But yes, I think he needs to go through some kind of a change. Whether that's turning him heel, I don't know. Whether that's shifting up his character, whether that's giving him some good lines to say, as opposed to this nerdy stuff that he's put. So yeah, I think that you are onto something. But the thing is that, do I have an answer? No, I don't. And I always think, well, if I don't have an answer, maybe nobody at WWE does either. Maybe they're trying to work that out. But I feel like the position we're in now, if he wins the Universal Championship back too soon, they'll get Roman Reigns. But then what does he do in the mid-time? Because I don't know. To me, this is I agree with you, actually. I think this is the perfect time to do something utterly different with him. Maybe he's mad and pissed off about what happened at Crown Jewel, and then we can get something interesting with him. But yeah, Seth Rollins is in an interesting position. He's not where he was even 6 months ago after WrestleMania. And that's quite crazy, because at WrestleMania, people loved him. So good shout, Alex. Good shout. Sean Gilhorn in the super chat says, finally, a little faith restored in WWE. Finally listens to fans. Have a great day, Simon. Sean, let's talk in a week. Just in case he's still not the champion. But you're right. You have to take things day by day sometimes. And right now, on this Friday, a few hours removed from Crown Jewel, we all wanted Bray Wyatt to win. We didn't think he was going to win, which, yes, hampered the match. But we got what we want. So we were all quick, as we should be, to crap all over them with the Hell in a Cell finish. But it also means here, hands in the air, round of applause and say thank you very much. I enjoyed that moment. I had a big smile on my face when that event finished, and that's all wrestling should be. It's entertainment, you know. Panther King and the super chat says Undertaker versus The Fiend at TLC Extreme Rules match. Bro, you don't want to see Undertaker in an Extreme Rules match. I know where you're coming from, and I'd love to see that program as long as Bray Wyatt wins. You don't want to see Undertaker in an Extreme Rules match. It's just going to be hurtful and sad all around. But he is a legend, don't get me wrong. Lugo72 just put some cash in the super chat. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. And thank you very much for watching, if nothing else. In fact, while we are here, around about halfway through the show, oh no, I've screwed it up. Hang on. There we go. I was halfway through the show. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't joined before, if you stumbled across this, just smash the subscribe button down there. Come follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SimonMiller316. Remember that Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Show is sponsored by pinsandknuckles.com. Go check them out. They've got loads of wrestling t-shirts. You can make your own merchandise. And also go to pinsandknucklesmerch.com. If you're watching this in the background, go do it right now. Type it into your browser. You can find my page, and you can buy some exclusive Miller merchandise. It's got the Y logo for my wrestling gear. And you can go to simonmiller.pigcartel.com. Is that right? Simon Miller? Yeah. And buy my wrestling merch. And, of course, all of this is sponsored by patreon.com/Simon Miller 316. Quick shout out to patrons, as it is the first of the month. I always get this notification from Patreon where they're like, oh, a bunch of your payments didn't go through. If you could just check it, that would rock. And anybody else that has joined this week, thank you so much. As I try to be as honest with as I was a few days ago, numbers going in the wrong direction at the moment, which I totally get. People have financial commitments. You should never get yourself into trouble in that regard. But even if you could spare me $1, if you enjoy what I do and feel like, I don't mind throwing $1 in the pot, it allows me to do more of this, and I desperately don't want to stop doing this. But as a freelancer, time is money. You know how it works. R. Crippler in the super chat says, don't forget that Raw still has a trade from SmackDown. R. Kipler, you have just smashed it. That is such a good point. Maybe The Fiend will just be, or maybe Brock Lesnar is going to go to Raw, and that's how you do the Rey Mysterio feud. Oh my gosh, R. Crippler. How hilarious would that be? If that happens, worst trade ever. And that's no disrespect to Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, but we'll give you that if we can have Lesnar. Yeah, okay, that doesn't work. If we were talking wrestling top trumps or wrestling cards, you'd never make that trade, ever. You'd be like, absolutely not. Brock Lesnar is worth like 6 people. Look at his stats. 100, 100, 100, 99, 99, 99. That is a great shout, though. That is a great shout. Oh, please remember that, W. They'll just forget, won't they? Geeked Out Nation in the super chat says, Braun is bad, Big Show. I actually missed the Roman feud. I tell you, man, when you see Roman Reigns presented like he was last night, as in absolutely beloved by everybody, doing all of his big moves, getting a huge evasion, I can totally see why WWE want to turn him to that person. He's a lot of fun to watch, and he is a good wrestler. It's just a shame he doesn't get that kind of response everywhere he goes, which kind of makes it redundant anyway. But yeah, absolutely awesome. I really got a kick out of that. I enjoyed seeing Roman doing stuff. I wouldn't have had him kick out of the RKO, being a nerd, being a geek. Don't think we need to do it. To me, finishes have become less important than they used to be. But that aside, really fun match. Everyone, we could just see that match on Raw. Yeah. But that's better than usually what we get on those Saudi Arabia shows. So I'm going to take it. Shout out in the super chat to my man, Joe Najin, I think. Joe Najin. I think it's maybe just John. Either way, I'm a big fan of yours, but due to life stuff, I've missed a couple of podcasts. Any recent development in your feud with Camacho's Hangaround? Camacho. That's firstly, thank you very much. Don't worry about missing a show. Am I missing something with Camacho? I am, aren't I? This is going to be embarrassing. I've forgotten something, probably because I was up to like ridiculous hours doing ups and downs for Crown Jewel. Not that I mind. I love doing it. I'm going to Google this just to make sure I'm not being stupid. I will be being stupid. Rafael Camacho is a Liverpool football player. What have I missed? I've missed Camacho wrestler. Oh, that's Tangaloa, is it? Oh, I see. Right. You're talking about Tamatonga. I'm with you. Right, there it is. It's all clicked. Thank man, I'm an old dickhead. No, I mean, at the moment, Sami Callihan's a bigger problem than Tamatonga. We are going to get that Tamatonga thing sorted at one point, but you got to deal with the obstacles that come at you one by one. So, Sami Callihan first, April 2020, Florida. Is it Tampa? I think WrestleMania. Simon Miller versus Sami Callihan. What Culture Death Match at Pancakes and Pile Drivers. In fact, keep your eye on What Culture Wrestling soon for a little video from me where I'm going to get into it and get into it hard. My man Brandon, the super chat, who says, who would you want Bray to feud with next after Seth? Well, look, if I'm fantasy booking, yes, we talked about it earlier. I'd love him to have a match with The Undertaker at Survivor Series. Not going to happen. Or the Royal Rumble, and him for beat The Undertaker, because I think that's absolutely going to cement that character. That's unrealistic, though, and we probably wouldn't get what we wanted out of that either. Let's say that the rosters stay where they are and that he is able to beat Seth and doesn't lose his championship. I don't know, it's a great question. Look at me just staring off into the distance. Because you don't want to give, maybe you do want to give him someone that's kind of a bit less tier so we can just beat him. It sounds a bit crap, and I can't even remember who's on which brand anymore because it's so confusing. But maybe you want him to beat The Miz. That sounds crap, right? But he can just whoop The Miz's ass. And it does add to that, as long as he does that for a few people. So he could go through The Miz and he could go through, those type of peoples. But it's not very exciting. Because the thing is, you kind of want to do Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns, but you're not going to, I don't think Roman Reigns will lose. And I can't see Roman Reigns beat Bray Wyatt again. It's a great question. I don't know, Brandon. I don't know. Undead FB Goo makes a great point in the super chat that The Fiend versus Finn Balor was normal lighting with a shrug emoji. Yep, it was. That's just WWE, Undead. We know how this works. Stuff just happens. It's the best 3 words I've ever come up with in regards to WWE. Stuff just happens. Messi in the super chat says, as both a critic and a wrestler following your dream, I like this question already, does seeing how WWE handles booking unused talent, e.g. Harper, affect your desire to go there? Well, it's not really how I look at it. I take it sort of individually. I don't... This is just how I live my life. This isn't even a wrestling thing. If Luke Harper wants to leave and Vince McMahon or whoever doesn't want to use Luke Harper on their shows, extending his contract by 6 months because of injury just so he has to sit around just seems awfully unfair to me. That's not, if I had my own company, I wouldn't do that. I mean, if you don't think he's of any worth, why do you care if he goes to AEW, MLW, New Japan? I don't understand that. That's a bit power mad. But, the other thing when it comes down to, like, if I got offered a WWE contract, which I don't think is going to happen for the record, but if I did, to me, it's about, I'd have to see what position I was in to begin with, but there's also this thought of, I must have done something really good for that to happen. Like, WWE doesn't just hire anybody. I know that they are trying to snap up as much talent as they can because we are in a wrestling war, but they don't just hire anybody. And I think as well, you can't not take opportunities based on what's happened to other people. Because when you get to 70, 80, 90 years old, if we're lucky enough to get there, you're always going to look back and ask, what if, right? And that's why I've always said yes to every single opportunity that has come my way. Even the opportunities to scare the crap out of me. I'm like, well, I'll do it anyway and I'll see where it leads. It doesn't mean that, just because you get presented with something, it's the right option for you to make. But I think deep down in your gut, if it's something you have to try, otherwise you're going to regret it, you can't worry about anybody else. You've got to bet on yourself, as a lot of people say, and you've got to see where you end up. Regardless what we think about WWE, I still think it's an honor to, get a contract with that logo at the top of it. And that's not just for me, I mean for anybody, which is why sometimes I go, I can't believe this guy signed with WWE. I'm like, man, they've probably been watching WWE since they were 4, and now they've kicked enough ass that they work for the company. Few people would turn it down, in my opinion. Some people would, but few would. I've just missed, there it is. My man, Ark of the Wild, who's been very kind in the super chat. Thank you, dude. You humble me. In the sense that Bray and Fiend are 2 independent entries sharing a body, it'll be interesting to see Bray on Miz TV with the championship when it's the Fiend who actually won it. Either way, the pop will be huge. I thought that. When I saw they were advertising Bray Wyatt for Miz TV, I was like, this could be really, if done right, this could be brilliant. Bray Wyatt can absolutely pull it off, that weird schizophrenic dual persona thing. But we don't know if the Fiend made it out of Saudi Arabia. Again, if you just tuned in, a bunch of wrestlers are stuck in Saudi Arabia at the moment, and we don't know why. Some sources cite mechanical problems with the plane. Other people make it sound political or like something else is going on. So yeah, we really don't know what's going on there. But no, I agree. I think this is the time to kind of separate those two guys. Maybe there's some interesting things that we can come up with, and also execute it in the right way. We can forget all the problems we've had over the last few weeks, and this can be where Bray Wyatt / The Fiend maybe does take off in multiple directions and starts doing some interesting things, some different things. That's the theme of this podcast. Do different things. So yeah, I'm with you there, Ark of the Wild. I I hope that we have a good idea for this, because it really could be a proper moment that we look back on and go, that was the time we came up with, just some cool ideas to make Bray Wyatt stand out. So absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. My man TJ Fuse says in the super chat, hand on heart, with you being a wrestler and seeing how WWE tends to book their up-and-coming talent, is making it there working under Vinnie Mac a goal for you? I love it. All the questions are about whether I want to make WWE. I'll refer you back to what I was talking about a minute ago. I mean, if I'm honest with you, and I know wrestlers aren't meant to say this, my goal when it comes to wrestling right now is just to get booked anywhere and everywhere and work as much as I can and get experience. And then if an opportunity comes up elsewhere, be it with WWE, AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, whatever, I don't think I'm ready for any of those companies, just for the record. But as we're talking hypothetically, I would take it as it comes. But as I've just mentioned, I think you'd be a fool to not take opportunities when they knock on your door. That's just how I see it. And I'll say this as well. I would want to keep doing what I'm doing now. I'm not saying that it's possible, but I want to do that. I want to do my YouTube stuff. I want to go to the gym. I want to be in my band. That's how I live my life. I want to be busy every single day, and I want every single day to be different. And anyone that knows me know if I'm not doing that, I'm not as happy as chipper as I would be otherwise. It's just what I like. I like craziness, and I like madness, and I like looking at my watch and being like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time to do these 32,000 things. Brent P in the Super Chat says, I'm hoping for an upset over Sammy like Paige in her debut match. The title is on the line, right? I don't want to disappoint you, Brent. The Impact Championship will not be on the line because we're fighting for Pro Wrestling Revolver at their Pancakes and Pile Drivers event during WrestleMania. The Impact title obviously belongs to Impact Wrestling. Sammy may come out with it. I don't know. That's up to him. But if I was able to pull up the biggest upset ever and beat him, I would not be the Impact champion. It's not happening in the Impact Zone, not a thing anymore. But yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to ruin you. Loads of people said that on Twitter, but that is the that is the truth of the matter. TJ Fuse, I've just caught up with you. Me noticing I wasted a super chat on a question you just answered. You never waste it, TJ. I appreciate it. I love you. Thank you very much for watching and being a part of the show. Daniel Brotherton in the super chat says, Bray retires at Mania 36, retires Taker at Mania 36, passing the torch. Who would say no to that, right? That would be absolutely wonderful. I mean, absolutely wonderful to say. Again, you pass all that power to Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt has a huge win. Hopefully, he's still the Universal Champion. Makes all the sense in the world to me. Unless, of course, look, I mean this. If we get to December, January, and Bray is still the champion, and it's not working, change it. I don't mind that. Just because we want something, if the analytics aren't saying otherwise, don't do it too early. You got to give this stuff time. So maybe December's not long enough. But that's okay too, as long as there's a reason for it. The thing with Hell in a Cell is there was no reason, and nobody could understand. Chicken salad, random question, love it. In the super chat, did you see Kevin Hart dressed as The Rock? Yes, I did. It was funny. It was a funny little skit. Kevin Hart's really small, and The Rock is massive. They've got a new film coming out. Smart promotion. With Halloween. Still haven't seen Jumanji. Probably won't see it. Dylan Capone in the Super Chat says, what if The Fiend vacates the title? Since in Hell in a Cell it wasn't about the title and he was playing possum just to prove that he can get revenge. Dylan, I love you. I appreciate you joining in for the show. Thank you so much for watching. I hate that idea. You make the title feel worthless, and championships in WWE already don't feel as important as they used to. But to have all of that go down and all of this effort, be it within story or out of story, and then he just gives it up, I think I'd stop watching for a while. I mean, I wouldn't, because I'm lucky that my job is to watch. I wouldn't be a fan of it. I don't think it helps anybody. It doesn't help Seth. It makes Seth look like a goon. It makes Bray Wyatt look like a goon. And it makes the title look like a goon. He should be like, even if it wasn't about the title, now I have your title. If anybody wants to come and take it off me, I'll kick your ass. That's what we want. I don't care if he's a face or a heel. I just want him to be a badass. Brandon Carvalho in the Super Chat says, AEW has Jericho. Who would you put on NXT to counter that? I'd have John Cena do an NXT stint. Look, you look at it two ways. If WWE can convince John Cena to come back and go on NXT, of course, that would be amazing. But right now, if you can get John Cena to come back, I put him on SmackDown. John Cena is a draw. John Cena earns people money. John Cena puts butts in seats. SmackDown is more important to WWE than NXT, so I would put him there. It's a bigger platform for him. It probably will come back to SmackDown at some point, to be honest. Who would I have to counter Jericho? It doesn't really work like that, because you could say that Finn Balor as a heel, especially that promo, could have been a counter. But Chris Jericho is just too good right now. And Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer said it, like, who's better character in wrestling right now than Chris Jericho? I don't think there is one. He's fantastic. He's brilliant. He's outrageous. There's a Funhouse reference, the British TV show. You know, he's taken everything he's learned over the last 30 years and he's applied it into this character. There's a bit of old in there, a bit of new. They've done everything right with him, and he's lit a fire under his own ass. Like, he's really motivated. I think with NXT, they should just stay the course and do their own thing. It's still early days. I know ratings yesterday were bad, but the World Series are like 23 million viewers. So I'm not even going to bother talking about those figures until next week. Let's see where we are in 2020 before we start getting too worried. My man TJ back again in the super chat, who said, who do you think would be Bray's next feud? And who would help both wrestlers flourish into stardom? Well, it's the second part I find most interesting, because you're right. A good feud allows both people to be rising up. I don't think you can do that with Bray Wyatt. As we said before, I think the key, if Bray Wyatt does hold on to this Universal Championship, is to have him run through a few notable dudes. Really establish him as a threat. Really establish him as a top guy. And I don't think that we're able to do that if he just has sort of 50-50 matches with people. I don't know what you do. Roman Reigns is a good shout, but then Roman has to lose, and I don't think that he would. Let me know. You tell me in the chat. Let's say that Bray Wyatt gets through all of this. He remains the Universal Champion on SmackDown, because we don't know what's going to happen. Where does he go after Seth? As the champ. As one of the top guys. There's your homework that you've got to do right now. Where am I going? I've screwed it up again. There we go. Jacob Donnelly in the super chat. Imagine the OC and now introduces the best tag team in the world, Shane McMahon style. Lol. I like that turmoil match. I thought that got a bit of a bad rap too. It went on too long maybe, but I just thought it was a bunch of good teams doing their thing. But I was perplexed at the end when we had this big announcement and Michael Cole going crazy that Gallows and Anderson are now the best tag team in the world. We made that World Cup thing up on Wednesday. What about the Raw and SmackDown tag team champions? Look, if they're going to do it, why the hell not? It would probably be quite funny. It would probably get some good bad guy heat, and they are bad guys. Why the hell not, right? Why the hell not? As long as they use it. And as long as they get a title shot against the Viking Raiders. That was the Viking Raiders' first loss on the main roster. Maybe in WWE. They probably did lose on NXT. We got to push them. We got to give them a shot. And let's make the Crown Jewel show mean something. Undead FB Goo in the super chat says, Dustin Rose tweeted he has a radial fracture. I saw that. I think he's working. At least I would assume that he is. I hope he is, because I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, he posted a picture with his hand in a cast or some kind of medical glove and said that he's okay, but yeah, he screwed up his hand after Jake, whatever his stupid name is, slammed it in a limo door, which means now, really, we got to get Jake Hagar versus Dustin Rhodes. I'm all right with that. I think it's a really interesting match. I really don't know why. As soon as I thought about it, I was like, oh, that sounds good. Alex D in the super chat says, Simon Mellett in my backyard of Tampa putting boots to asses up. That's right, Alex. Come down, man. Come down. I don't know where it's all going to be at the moment, but if you go to PWR or Pro Wrestling Revolver, they'll have all the details. Come down, dude. We can shake hands, and then you can probably watch me get my ass kicked in a What Culture Deathmatch. Right now, I don't know what a What Culture Deathmatch is, but I do know that Sami Callihan is crazy. So we'll have to see how that figures out. But hey, man, if you're going to die, go down, die in a flame of glory. My man, Fashionable Time Waster. Amazing name in the super chat. Hi, Simon. Thanks for always being the positive hour in my day. My man, you are welcome. Thank you very much for the super chat, and thank you very much for watching. I always say this. If people don't watch, I can't do anything. So you're very, very welcome. Do you think Bray will ever wrestle as Bray, or do you think that's edging into Finn Balor and the Demon kind of territory? I think there's a potential to do that. I think I would like to see it, and if it's an awful idea, stop. But you bring up a great point. Like, I don't like the Demon Finn Balor mechanic. I never have. I don't know why. It's just been lost on me. Probably because it was never explained what the Demon is. I'm focusing more on the main roster guy here. Main roster Finn Balor. But I guess if you can tell a better story with Bray versus... But the thing is, if you take Bray Wyatt as we know him now, surely he has to be a bit weak, a bit scared. Like he was terrified when Seth Rollins was burning down his house, which, don't forget, he only did to be a jackass. So, yeah, I don't know how that would work, but I'd be up for them giving it a go. But then again, this is what we always said about the Demon. If you have the other alter ego, why wouldn't you just be that guy? If you know that guy is going to kick ass all the time, why would you come out as a guy that probably isn't going to kick ass? I think that's the interesting thing. You've really got to make it mean something. But you do have two personas. Mankind was able to pull it off, or Mick Foley, I should say. And I think anything that's different right now, I'm on board for. So, once again, something I would absolutely be interested in seeing them doing, as long as they are willing to admit if it doesn't work and do something else before it's too late. Geeked Out Nation, the super chat says, is NXT in Survivor Series to just eat the losses? Maybe. It could happen. But I do think it makes Survivor Series more interesting. I was dreading Survivor Series because trying to accept Raw versus SmackDown at this stage is a bit nonsense, as we've only just had a brand split. But NXT does make it more interesting. I don't think they would do a whitewash. I know they did it last year with SmackDown, but I don't think Triple H would let that happen. And again, if we get Adam Cole versus Brock Lesnar versus The Fiend, that is a match I want to see because it's just so nuts and not something I ever thought that I'd see in a million years. Christopher Lunt in the Super Chat says, I see Bray Wyatt more of this generation's Mick Foley with a split personality. Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, plus the claw finisher. Can you do a Hurricane Rana off the top rope? Call it 6 out of 10. Christopher, you've been watching a while. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Hurricane Rana's off the top rope for life. You're right, there is a lot of Mankind there. He has split personalities. He borrowed his move. I like the fact the Mandible Claw is now kind of getting over again. I mean, it's a dumb move. There's no two ways about it. But it's all about how people react to it and how it's sold by commentators and those around Bray Wyatt. And it does feel like somewhat of a devastating move. But yeah, he is like that. The question is, like we were just talking about, do we want Bray Wyatt to be a wrestler? Again, let me know in the chat, yes or no. Yes, I want to see Bray Wyatt wrestle, as in the character of Bray Wyatt that we now know as the host of the Firefly Funhouse. Or no, I don't. This is what I'm learning about wrestling this year. I knew it anyway. But just give the basics of it is, give the fans what they want. I know it's hard because you've got to deal with egos. But give the fans what they want. And they'll endear themselves to you and they'll make a lot of noise. And I am talking about AEW there, but it's true. David Estabrook in the Super Chat says, prep period over, off to teach, have a great day. And you, David, I love the fact you are watching that while in the middle of a teaching day. Go teach some kids about Bray Wyatt and how important it is to be over with the fans. Frequently Fly in the Super Chat says, happy Friday, have a great weekend. And you, Frequently Fly, it is Friday. The weekend is but hours away. Make sure you enjoy it, have a good one, embrace every day and all that nonsense. Jacob Donnelly in the Super Chat says Kevin Owens going after Bray would be cool. Kevin Owens on Raw now though, right? What does that mean? Absolutely nothing. Although I want to see the Owens versus AJ Styles feud. I liked it when Owens ran. There was a lot of nonsense, but I was intrigued by that. But yeah, Kevin Owens versus Bray Wyatt down the line. I think that would be good, especially if it was for the Universal Championship and getting some new guys into those main event positions. Yeah, Jacob, wouldn't be against that at all. I think it would be fun. Messi in the Super Chat says, hurt right hand claw, heel, left arm, Sister Abby. I don't know what that means. I know you're referring to Bray Wyatt's gloves. Do you mean, I see what you mean. So his right hand is what he does with the claw, and his heel is how he hits Sister Abigail. I caught up. I'm all right. I'm not stupid. I guess you're kind of right. That is what he does. He's got depth. Bray Wyatt's like a genius when it comes to wrestling. I think we can all agree with that now. He has something that a lot of people don't have. My man Brandon Carvalho in the Super Chat says, do you like the idea of Aleister Black's fight room being connected to the Firefly Funhouse? No, I don't like anything like that. I didn't like it when Liv Morgan was going to be in the Firefly Funhouse because there was nothing wrong with it. You have to evolve it and you have to change it. But I think Aleister Black is too big a character to just stick with Bray Wyatt. I think he should be his own man. And I think whatever Liv Morgan's reimagining is going to be is exactly the same reason. I don't think we need to start mucking around with things that are going well. I mean, there's so much more you can do with Aleister Black before putting him in that position. Get him out of his room for one, and stop having him go, I would pick a fight. We've done that enough. Now I need to see him in feuds. I need to see him in programs. I need there to be a narrative. We said this on AEW ups and downs. All the women on AEW are great, but none of them are any stories. So eventually he's just watching two people wrestle, and I want narrative. And I think it's the same with Aleister Black. Give him someone to properly fight. I wouldn't be against it. Again, if they told the story well, I'd be like, okay, cool. Aleister Black and Bray Wyatt are pals. But I don't see that we need to do that connection. And also, he is on Raw, one's on SmackDown. I know that means nothing. Lamel KH2 in the Super Chat says, Oscar up for commentary saying The Fiend. Yeah, they were a bit better last night. Everyone, that was the joke of this time. I've called it The Fiend Bray Wyatt. I've done that because that annoys me. I make a lot of jokes sometimes and people just go, Simon, you're such a hypocrite. I'm like, it's gone over your head. I am self-aware. Like when I called, I know that Umberto Carrillo's name is that, but I will call him Humberto Carrillo because I know it's going to poke the bear. It just goes right over people's head. I'm a bit of an asshole. I'm a bit of an asshole. Right, before we start wrapping up, let's go check to see if there's been any updates with this crazy situation in Saudi Arabia. No, I don't think there has been. Although, to be honest, where the hell would you even look, right? I guess Twitter would be the best one, but I don't have access to that on my current machine. If you've heard anything, let me know. But yeah, I know absolutely nothing. Actually, before we do, we should talk about the women's match at Crown Jewel, which I'll do in a second, just as I zoom through to see if there is anything that we can mention. I don't think there is. This all looks pretty much, yeah. I think there's a... Click this. I don't think there's anything update. They're just stuck there. You're going to get an interesting episode of SmackDown. I can tell you that. But, yeah. I mean, the thing with it comes to the women's match. Look, I'm not saying that the Saudi Arabia shows aren't controversial. They are, and I don't think they should be happening for reasons that you either know or you don't know. I don't want to get into that now. But it's still a moment for Natalya and Lacey Evans. It's still something we haven't seen before. I mean, we should be seeing it. Of course we should be seeing it. But in terms of the situation, the context is presented in, I thought it was very nice. I thought it was very good. And hopefully we get to the point where we can go to whatever the next Saudi Arabia show is and we can have lots of women's matches. Because it's 2019 and women and men are the same. Shock horror, right? But I think it's worth mentioning. Bush and Rhea Cat in the Super Chat says, Simon, hand on heart. I love the fact the hand on heart thing got over. I've seen you wrestle in a cave. You have. What's next? Will you wrestle on a barge? How about a ring in a steel victory with hot metal dripping like Batman? I'll wrestle anywhere. As we were talking earlier, my two remits for wrestling are, am I free and can I get there? If I can tick both of those things, I will wrestle for anybody. I love the experience. I love doing it. I love the matches. I love meeting people. I love wrestling. I just do. It's got into my blood, as a lot of people say that it has. In terms of this week, Sunday in Ivor for New Force Wrestling. Check out my Twitter for more information. I'll be down there. I'll be wrestling. So it's really cool, those shows. They're like Village Hall shows. So you get a really sort of like family-friendly audience. And I love wrestling in front of that kind of crowd. And then what I'm going to do is before the next podcast, I'm going to have a proper list like Colt Cabana used to do. Every time Cabana used to do. And I'm just going to read them out. But yes, I'll wrestle on a barge. I'll wrestle in a steel factory with hot metal dripping. I'll wrestle on a train. I'll wrestle in a car. I'll wrestle on a plane. I'll wrestle anywhere. Again, am I free? Can I get there? I'll do it. Relugo72 says, was going through a rough patch mentally. Your positivity and amazing videos really helped me through some dark times. Down 60 pounds since February. Gym 6 days a week. Could you explain your push-pull days? Well, first of all, man, I always get humbled by when people say that. If I was there to help you even the tiniest bit, then you humble me. Thank you so much. But remember, you do all the hard work. Someone else may inspire you or be the catalyst, but it's all down to you. You're still the person that has to get up and get it done. 60 pounds is an incredible amount of weight, especially since February, so fair play. And I'll do it quickly. And my push-pull days, for people that ask, the reason I don't do many gym videos is because out of all the audiences, be that games, wrestling, or gym pros are the worst. And they're the only ones that get me. I have a very specific routine, and I don't need to be told over and over, you're doing this right. Just go away, right? Go away. But in terms of what I'm doing for push-pull right now, so push is... Look, this is my basic one, but I will mix it up. I will throw some exercises in. I'll take some exercises out. I listen to my body, as cheesy as that sounds. But what do? I do flat bench, I do machine press, I do incline press, and I do dips. And I do a bunch of press-ups as well because I think resistance exercises are good. And then I also do triceps, and I'll usually do some kind of pull-down, some kind of raise, and I can't even think what. Triceps I kind of make up as I go. And in terms of pull days, I start with pull-ups, then I do some kind of row, then I usually barbell rows, then I do lat pull-downs, then I'll do, I can't remember what the hell they're called. The other ones where you go like that. When you come straight down. I can't remember what the hell they're called. And I will do some T-bar rows. And then biceps again, same thing. Probably some incline curls, some dumbbell curls, some hammer curls, some cable curls. Like, if you have a good back or chest workout, you're usually going to work your arms. So that's what I'm doing. There is a thing out there on my channel somewhere. I go into more detail, but I don't want to overdo it, given that it is a wrestling show. I know some people get annoyed. Chicken salad in the super chat says, will you wrestle in space, lol? No, I won't, because going to space scares the crap out of me. I've said this before. If one day we have to leave the planet because we've screwed it up, I'll stay. Terrified of being an astronaut. My rocket would explode. Just would. Fashionable Time Waster in the super chat says, no question, just wanted to say thanks, and I'm gutted this is the last show I'll be able to watch live for a while as I have to go back to teaching kids next week. Much love, Simon. Dude, look, thank you for joining me. You're kicking ass anyway because you're a teacher. I'm assuming it's half term. I just appreciate you watching, and that goes for everybody else. Like right now, this is nobody, apart from one other show, this is the most watched episode I've done, which blows my brain as it always does. So thank you to Fashionable Time Waster, and thank you to everybody else as well. I love it. I love doing this stuff, and when the audience grows and it gets bigger, it makes you more motivated to carry on. And again, if you are watching, you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. That's how we continue to grow this and get a bigger audience. And good luck with your classes, Fashionable Time Waster. I hope your kids are not too... I'd hope they're nice people. Kids can be difficult, right? Brandon Carvelio in Super Chat says, have you listened to Spite yet? It would be great content for the channel. Nope, but you're on my list along with the Undead FB Goo metal playlist that they've snuck in there. So basically, next time I go to the gym, I will probably hear them and I will get back to you, Brandon. But yeah, I want to start doing more music stuff on the channel. So I will I'll hopefully get to that at some point. Buffalax247 says, Undertaker's first loss was to Tito Santana. He took 2 pile drivers and an urn to the face for the loss. Right, Buff, thank you so much for that, because that ties into this whole Bray Wyatt thing. See, there are ways and means to come up with it. And Tito Santana as well. I know he's a big deal in the day, but he's never like a super huge over dude. So there you go. We can come up with things, and we may bitch and moan, but do it in the right way. I can't remember what Tito's finisher was, but I'm going to assume it was a pile driver. And finishes are different these days, but hit his finisher twice. Also used a weapon. Again, you have to... it's like inflation, right? We have to do something more than that now because we've just seen Bray Wyatt go through all that stuff. But we should be creative enough that we can come up with something. I love the no-sell stuff. I just do. Shout out to Damn Lemley as well, who's just put some money on the super chat. Thank you so much. I massively appreciate that. And I think that brings us to the end of this week's show, if we're completely honest. I think we've talked about Crown Jewel. All the other matches I haven't mentioned were fine. Battle Royal was fine. Team Hogan versus Team Flair was fine. AJ Styles versus Humberto Carrillo was good, but the fans didn't really seem to care. I don't think there was anything else, and if there is, I've completely forgotten about it because why wouldn't I? It was look. This isn't. I said this on Ups and Downs. So again, check out What Culture Wrestling. Make sure you subscribe to them. The Saudi Arabia shows are difficult. However, this was the best one of a bad bunch, and it still counts. It still counts. Arc of the World in the super chat says, okay, no wrestling in space, but what about a low gravity dome? Imagine jumping from the top rope and being midair for like 5 seconds before landing. That I will do, and that I would probably do tomorrow. I'm wrestling in High Wycombe soon in like... It's got like a padded floor, and apparently you can just hit it and you just bounce up, so everyone takes crazy dives. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to that. That's for EWA. So, yes, I would absolutely do it in a low-gravity dome. Also, I don't think I've ever seen wrestling in a low-gravity dome, so that's 2 thumbs up from me. I look forward to my debut in the low-gravity dome. You guys are great. Look, thank you so much for everyone that tunes in. An episode will be going up later too. I had a chat with the Patreon. It's a little bit out of date. I do apologize. I didn't get around to it yesterday because Crown Jewel came and just destroyed, in a good way, destroyed my afternoon. So I'll get that up. But in the meantime, look, have a great weekend. It's SmackDown tomorrow, so make sure you check out Ups and Downs for SmackDown around about 2 p.m. tomorrow. GMT now with the time change. Just enjoy yourselves. Just have good weekends. Crown Jewel is done. Full Gear is a week Saturday as well, so we can look forward to that. If you're watching the MMA this weekend, the Diaz fight, make sure you enjoy that. It's going to be interesting. I put my money on Masvidal or Diaz. Probably Diaz. I think Diaz always comes good when he has to. The Rock's going to be there, tying it into pro wrestling. But yeah, if you could check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Simon316. There's a link in that description. Please do. Like I say, I've kind of gone through it all. I've changed some things up. I've streamlined the rewards. Classic, more money you put in, I'll make sure I send you something, or you can see it all up there. But even if you just want to throw $1 in, that would be rock. But if you don't want to, that's cool as well. Just give me a subscribe on here. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Simon316. If you want to check out my wrestling merchandise, it's simonmiller.bigcartel.com. And a shout out to pinsanduckles.com. They sponsor this podcast. They help me do my merchandise, and they have exclusive Simon Miller t-shirts at pinsanducklesmerch.com. Had to think about it. That's it. That's done for the week. We're going to move on. I'm going to get a few other stuff done, but they won't be live or anything like that. So enjoy your Friday, enjoy your Saturday, enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your Monday, and we'll be back on Tuesday. Maybe a little bit of a later date because I have to go and sort something out. But we'll get it done. We'll get it done. We'll be here and we'll be smashing it. Thanks so much for always. Like I say, this is one of the best shows I've done in terms of numbers, and I will smile about that for the rest of the day. I'll see you when I see you.